All right, I guess I do have the toe for it. So it's a bad joke. It's supposed to be like, I just don't know if I'll have the heart for it. But I didn't know how I'd be feeling or if I would have my foot in a cast or something because of a broken metatarsal. And actually, if that toe thing was a broken toe or what it was. I think it was just a broken toe though, because I'm able to walk on it. And anyways, I had a couple of observations off of that. And one observation is like I'm not a very good editor. I will admit that. The part with the hat where I'm all distraught after being freshly injured um, should have been edited down quite a bit. Um, I think it's funny the pictures of the injury where I match up the four pictures with the four musical rests in the famous piece of Bach horror music. And another thing is I don't I think I made a mistake in there where I said that the Bruce guy was saying he didn't remember that he was the one that cut the 8 foot hole in the wall. I think he was saying somebody didn't do some other work that was up there that he was looking at. So I think I got confused there. Um, the main thing I wanted to say is the observation is if you'll notice when I'm at the end where I'm asking my landlord, like, so, she could have just said that she had a crack in her tub and told you about it. And in my head, none of this would have happened. I didn't know I had broken my toe at that point, but I mean, I wouldn't have been bothered by Roy. The relationship with Roy wouldn't have been ended, and I wouldn't have been being bothered a day after oral surgery by him. And none of this would have happened if she just would have reported this crack in her tub. Now, the observation that I'm talking about is never said, well, the crack is not in a place where it's not obvious to be seen. Because I thought about it later and I was like, well, it could be a crack like right around the actual drain in the bottom of the tub where you couldn't see it. But he never said nothing about like, well, she couldn't have seen it. He was like, took a long pause in there and he was like, well, no, it's just an old tub and it was going to be needing replaced anyway. Which to me means, yes, she could have just reported that she had a crack in her tub if she was observant or, you know, I mean, I don't know. But that's what he kind of does is he tries to like never badmouth any of the other tenants in the building. The way he was telling me a meth kingpin seems like an okay guy, or he would never like say anything bad about any of the other tenants. I think the maybe the worst thing he ever said was that Roy was high maintenance. Maybe the worst thing he ever says about any of the other tenants. But I just wanted to, you know, step in there and ask him that question because we already had that discussion where you couldn't hear it, and I wanted you to hear that part of it about the tub. Um, just having a crack in it, and that being like the only deal part of it. There's other mistakes I made in there, but I plead the toe. I plead the fifth, or like I exercise my Miranda toe rights because that was very painful and it's causing me a lot of pain right now. I cleaned it up. It was like funny because I was calling people yesterday because I couldn't get the nerve to look at it, you know, because there's no telling what I was going to see when I took that sock off. I mean, my foot could have been all black and blue. There could have been swelling. The toe could be worse. I mean, I couldn't look at it until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was calling people, trying to like just trying to say, just look at it, you pussy, or something like that, basically in so many words. Or like, I'm a human being, okay? Sometimes I need my hand held. Sometimes I need a little support and reassurance. And that's not like tough guy talk about like the fighting and fish hooking people and violence and all that. That's just my nature. I'm not a tough guy. I don't deal with pain well, and I'm afraid when I go into my appointments and stuff. I have anxiety. Right now I'm sitting here just fiddling with the hem of my shorts. I mean, out of nervousness. Um, I'm afraid a lot of the stuff I do. I kind of live in fear, really. I mean, the nerves that I have before I go into some place, um, or it's like I'm getting menaced by a Rottweiler or something. It's that kind of level of anxiety and nervousness. So yeah, it'd been nice to have somebody there and reassure me and whatnot, but I couldn't get anybody on the phone. So I just peeled the sock off and took a look at it. And initially I was very pleased because the toe looked straight. The Band-Aid didn't hold too well either. I guess I bled a little bit from walking on it, and it loosened up the Band-Aid. And so I was pleased when I was looking at it because I took the sock off in bed. But once I put weight on it, then the toe like separated again. And I was like, shit. But I awkwardly, because I had that metal rod in my back. It's very hard for me to reach. I cleaned it up very thoroughly with alcohol. I don't have the proper Band-Aids to deal with it, so I have to be very careful of infection because you don't want nothing getting infected. And I just took black tape and I very carefully taped the two toes together, the bendy toe, and used the other toe for a splint. And then I took a second piece of tape and taped three toes around each other loosely to like reinforce that. Then my foot started hurting like a bitch, and I was like, man, maybe I cut circulation off in my toe. But so I took my sock off, and I felt, and my feet were warm, and I felt around the tape and stuff, and it just hurts. It's a broken toe. If you've ever had a broken toe before, they hurt. Even with somebody like me that's got like neuropathy already, and like I've stepped on tacks before, like I've said, and walked on a tack. I mean, a broken toe, like when I was younger and my symptoms were nothing compared to what they are now. I broke that little toe. I did not want to put a shoe on for a month. It was like that shoe was like whenever I had to wear a shoe to go somewhere, because I didn't go to the doctor for it. I was like, I just couldn't wait to get the shoe back off. But yeah, it hurts pretty bad right now. But yeah, I just want to throw that in there about the observation about if you read between the lines, if you know the guy like I know the guy, what he's saying is, yeah, she could have prevented the whole thing, by just saying that she's got a crack in her tub. And in other words, the thing with and her going around, I wanted to make that point too, that she was going around. And I had him, he actually said that Roy told her that the tub was going to go through the ceiling. Because that was what she was going around telling people, because, people love drama. But now I'm assuming that there's going to be some boards in the way. There's not just like the bottom of the tub. Maybe that there is, maybe I don't think I can reach it. Maybe I'll get somebody over here who's healthier It might only be a couple of weeks before a tub comes in, and see if she could have actually fallen through the tub, through my ceiling, and landed right over there in a heap with a broken leg or something, butt naked. Um, if something like that could have happened, he was like, well, she could have fell through it, meaning the tub. He didn't say anything about falling through the floor. But he was like, no, the tub, because I just want to make the point that she was just going around, so that's why I was in the part where I was freaking out and like had the black hat on and I was freshly injured and worrying about my foot, where I was like, it was just stupid. It's all stupid. It's stupid. I couldn't think of any word but stupid. Is because I knew that, it was all started by somebody exaggerating and trying to make something more dramatic and interesting because their lives are boring, perhaps, than it actually is. I hope I'm not doing that right now. That thought occurred to me. Um, but it was just like a bunch of talk that this guy over here bought at face value, who is in a wheelchair and of course never been upstairs. And so, he's actually was worried about the tub falling through the ceiling. And instead of me saying, like, that's ridiculous, that's not going to happen, I was like irritated at being bothered by him. So I said, just let the tub come. Just let it fall through the ceiling. I don't care. When I should have, I was high on tramadol at the time. So maybe tramadol, makes you sarcastic. But and I had oral surgery the day before, and so I was just being sarcastic, and he took that to mean like I really didn't give a fuck, because that's what I got the landlord to say on camera. Is like, yeah, he actually did say that about like the tub coming through the floor, and it's like he's got probably don't even have the right picture in his mind. He's probably got one of them cast iron old fashioned clawfoot 400-pound tubs. I don't know what they weigh, but they weigh in the hundreds of pounds, in his mind, you know. But really, these are, of course, because this guy's in it to win it. He's in it for the money. These are cheapo acrylic, you know, setups that weigh nothing, that I'm sure I could pick up with no trouble, you know. Which, since I got you here, I don't know if I ever told you the story where I was in one of those clawfoot old-fashioned tubs, and they're huge, they're great. I mean, it's like I turned it into a sauna. I bought like a tub sauna type of thing, and I would take duct tape and I would tape up the overflow and fill it like all the way up, and get like have that spa thing running in there, and have me a little hot tub, and it felt awesome. But what didn't feel awesome is one day I feel something lurch, and then I go backwards and bang, I hit the floor. Okay, that's 100 and I probably weighed only like 160 pounds tops back then. That's 160 pounds. It's got to be at least 200 pounds of water, and then like at least 200 pounds of tub. So we're talking 600, in the neighborhood of 600, at least 600 pounds hitting the floor, because the back legs just collapsed. I mean, I don't know. Don't remember moving in the tub. I just remember the tub hitting the floor, and I was like, right away, I was thinking, because that building was actually made in, I think, the 19th century is how old that building was I was living in. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going through the floor. That's the first thing that hit my mind when I lurched back, and I felt it. I felt, myself falling. You know the old clawfoot tubs that I'm talking about. They got legs. Well, the back two legs just went out from underneath it. So, gallons of water just splashed out of that tub. I rocked back, helping slosh more of the water out of the tub. And, I was just thankful I didn't go through the floor. And what I did in that situation, and is there was a railroad tie for some they used as like a parking stop or something out in the parking lot. So I fixed the tub by putting this railroad tie in place of the legs and lifting the tub up by myself and sliding the railroad tie underneath there. And I was like, I ain't trusting them legs again. So I actually had experience with how much force even a building made um, before World War One, how much how much force a building made before World War One can endure. You know, so the idea of that whole tub falling through the floor thing, I was sarcastic, and the guy was buying all that shit, hook, line, and sinker. Who knows what he was high on at the time, or where his head was, but yeah, the toe's quite painful right now. Um, uh, Not what I needed. I don't know how long it's going to take to heal. I have a dental appointment coming up on the 13th, and then good news is I hadn't told you this, but I couldn't get a hold of my old caseworker when I was wanting to schedule my appointments, and she just wasn't returning my calls, and it's pissing me off for like about 2 days. I think that's part of what I edited out of the other video. But this guy named Brent, who is younger, he doesn't sound particularly lively, but he might be having a bad day or something. But he's younger and way more intelligent than the first caseworker that I saw. So I will have him put me on the waiting list of the place that I want to live by my brother. And, it's a 62 and over community. And not to be morbid, I think you know where I'm going with that. So if I'm on a waiting list, you know. So I also was able to get that scheduled for the 18th, right after I see my psychiatric nurse. So that was great. That like worked out perfectly. I got a better caseworker. The guy's clearly intelligent. Like he was like, it was almost like I didn't need to have finished sentences with him. He was like getting there before me, and I was like, yeah, okay, this other person, not too bright. This guy's a bright guy. He sounds very tired or just like hates his job or something, but very intelligent guy. I will make sure to put. I can't. My smile is horrible and gruesome, but I will make sure to be as personable and nice to this guy as possible. And but that's a very good piece of news. As far as there was probably some other things in the video that I was thinking of while I was watching the football game that I missed, but I don't really know. The violent stuff. I mean, I can't help that. That's my nature, and maybe I do stuff sometimes because it's funny to me. So maybe that's not funny to me to refer to him as an angel of light. because that's what he poses as, is a super nice sweetheart of a guy, and never swears, never talks bad about anything. You know, uh, that's just how that's just how he is, and that's like he was like, the truth, it comes to people quick. Whenever you get that pause in there, where it's like, this is showing my age maybe, but who cares? This is also showing my age. This is showing my age, but you don't have to think when you're telling the truth. When there any time somebody has to pause, and it's not like, and it's about current events, they're pausing for a reason. They're spinning those wheels for a reason. So when he took that pause in there before, he was like, well, it was an old shower thing that needed replaced. That's a yes. Yes, she could have just said there was a crack in her tub. Yes, she could have just called me. Yes, there was no reason for me to bother you at all about it. We could have located that as the problem immediately. So, you know, it's very sad that I did that much injury, and caused myself even more pain than I'm already in, for absolutely no reason. Because that was the gist of that video. Is like, there was no reason or rhyme. That's why I just kept saying it's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Is because yeah, I broke my toe for no reason. That never happens. I never get a broken toe, because the heater would never be in that room. It never would be set up in that position. My legs would never be tired from clearing out spaces in my room for them to get to the ceiling. And if that guy thought my room was disgusting before, that was after I put a little bit of effort cleaning it and moving shit around. And so, yeah, maybe my legs are a little bit less taxed, you know. So, yeah, I broke my toe for nothing, is the gist of that. I'm kind of just hanging on here because I, there was something else in there that's nagging at me, that another observation to be made in that video. But I did make a point of saying drugs are bad, okay? Like, instead of drugs are bad, okay? Because he doesn't care about, he told me that before. He said he doesn't care what people do in the privacy of their own apartments. Whatever illegal substances are going on, he doesn't care. And I was like, I don't really care about that so much either, as much as I don't want any drugs being sold or dealt out of here. This is an early conversation we had from, like, when we first met. And he goes, yeah, and I don't want that either. And of course, he allowed that to happen repeatedly, to the point where a meth cookhouse opens across the street. So, anyways, there's no point for me to further take up your time. Like I said, the toe, it hurts, but broken toes hurt. I don't know how bad it is. I can bend it. I have the same flexibility that I had before. I don't know if it's worth a doctor's appointment. My doctor will probably schedule me for an x-ray just to make sure, or more likely, just so the medical machinery can make a little bit more cabbage. But I don't, it doesn't actually, it don't look good, but it don't look that bad. There's some swelling on the foot and stuff, but I mean, I'm walking on it. I don't think I could be walking on a broken foot. I'm not Jack Youngblood, who had the hairline fracture in his leg in the middle of an NFL football game and kept playing, or Ronnie Lott, who had a broken almost torn off tip of his pinky, and just said he wanted to keep playing, and taped up this weird contraption on top of his hand. I'm not like that. I'm not a tough guy. That's really just not tough guy talk. All that like fighting stuff and whatever. It's just my nature. It's what I was raised in, the stuff that I know about how to hurt people. It's like I don't want to hurt anybody. You know, I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't even want to hurt anybody's feelings. I am a disgustingly nice guy. It's like um, cutting people off, like I've had to do. Very painful for me. Uh, so I'm just saying that, when I was talking at the end, I was just saying that, like, you know, if a fight goes down between two people, there's a lot of factors involved. A physical fight, there's a lot of factors involved besides the health and strength of one individual versus the health and strength of another individual. And that's why I used the blind guy almost killing a guy that could see, who was the same size as him and the same age as him, as an example. That incident with my dad at the YMCA. And my dad takes matters of violence, or he used to take matters of violence very, very seriously because of his experience and fondness for it. And so if he says that the guy's tongue was hanging out of his mouth and his face was turning blue and he was about 30 seconds to a minute from expiring before the security guy ran up, and I skipped this part of it, but he was like, "Let go of him, Mr. Barton." And he just then before he hit him with the stun gun, and saved the sighted guy's life. But yeah, not the best editor in the world. I did the best I could as far as trying to make that a manageable, watchable video. And I did have so I have good news at least to share with you in this video. And like I said, it's pretty hard for me to swallow right now with my foot just throbbing away that I have that pain for no reason at all. Because, I live in a madhouse. I just live in a crazy place. I live in a crazy place and I have a messed up body. That's why I have a pretty badly broken toe that's screaming bloody murder right now. And that none of it was necessary. The plumbers never had to come in here. I never had to do nanny cam on the plumbers, which I've never done anything like that before in my life, where I've videotaped people without their knowledge. I thought for a minute that when he's I don't know phones, but it looks to me like he's taking a picture, because I thought for a minute like maybe he's just like looking in there with a flashlight, because all my drawers I emptied out all the drawers. This bed has like 3 drawers at the bottom of it. I emptied out those drawers and I taped everything up in double garbage bags. That's just what you do when you got bed bugs. And then I just like poured poison in all those drawers. And then there's like visible poison laying all around the bed that should probably be swept up. And so after rewatch, I thought maybe he was just using the flashlight function on the phone, because I'm not a tech guy. and like looking around. But if you look there, he's not doing that. He's using a light to look into a dark place and take a picture. I think he maybe saw something in there. Um, I asked him. I also didn't include this in the other video, but I asked him about, because I told the agency I would. I asked him about the bed bug situation upstairs, and he doesn't like the crosstalk between, like, he wouldn't tell me that this lady got sprayed for roaches. I just thought I magically had roaches one day, because he said I don't like to talk about other people's business. It's like you have to. The nature of the building doesn't allow you not to. So he replied that the war vet guy got sprayed twice for bed bugs. And then, tomorrow I'll text him and I'll ask him if he has any idea if the bed bugs are gone or whatever, because tomorrow is when I have to call the agency where they have the aid workers come in here, because I can get the aid workers to come in here now and they can help me make this place less disgusting. And I'm going to ask them to help me doctor my toe, because that's very hard for me to reach, and help me disinfect and doctor my toe. And I needed a third hand to like pull apart my pinky toe to wrap, because the one toe was bent over top. It was like I was keeping my toes crossed, so I needed somebody to hold the toes apart so I could slide the tape in there, because you know how tape folds up and sticks to itself. And then I put the tape around the two toes, which would be the ring toe and the fuck you toe, if you compared it to a hand. And I taped them, but you don't want to cut off circulation, especially with me where I don't have good feelings. So I didn't make the tape meet. And then I took tape and I taped the toes over top. I included a third toe with a second piece of tape, and did let the tape meet, because tape seals real good to the back of other pieces of tape, of course. And I checked it for looseness and circulation and everything, and it's just, it hurts because, well, you saw it. Pretty good kick I gave that portable heating unit. But yeah, I mean, I have good news for you. If you're on my side, and I hope you are, and I do have regulars, and I know probably 5, 6, 7, maybe of your names. One guy has a very cool name that's Every Man a King. He pops in every so often and says something, and you don't really, I talk enough for both of us, so you don't have to make any comments or anything like that. I just appreciate the people that are willing to watch this, comic tragedy that is my life. And it's just so fitting for me to break my toe over something that never should have occurred in the first place, and to actually have to be somewhat mean to an already a mean guy, but to be mean to the dude in the wheelchair. I don't want to make up with him because I'm not in the wrong. And what does that teach people? I got that problem with too many other people. It's like I made a point of mentioning that in the video, because I'm assuming that my audience wanted to see me actually talk to the landlord that I said that I wanted to murder the night before, which I don't really want to murder anybody. The guy's got a family. I like, he's got a beautiful daughter and 2 nice kids. I don't know, his wife might be nice. He's just a piece of garbage. That doesn't mean that the people that are dependent on him are garbage. So of course I don't want to do that. But I thought you'd want to me to see me interact with the guy, and I pointed to him and I said, before Roy went behind my back and texted you, and I wanted to point out that he just bought a bunch of bullshit. But see, that's the thing that I can't get past, is like you're why are you going behind my back and minding my business when you're 61, and I think he's 60 or 61 and I'm 51. I ain't no damn kid, and I was like, I and I also like made a point on the video, which I don't know if either one of them were even listening that closely, that I live in this room. So if the shower's up there, I'm hearing 90+% of all showers. So I'm going to hear when water hits the ceiling. So the Halloween, when I texted Roy, was probably the first time that crack got bad enough to where water started coming through. And like, at least in enough major quantities for it to for me to hear it, and like I don't know if you also noticed that about the tape, but there's a long distance between my hanging ceiling and the floor, so there's a lot of room for them drips of water to build up steam and hit. And I like it quiet in here because I like quiet, and and I'm always listening for that anyway. So, I was trying to make that point that that's probably the first time that happened, which I don't think either one of them bought, because they don't understand. It's like, I don't go anywhere but appointments, and I live in this room. I don't use any other piece of this apartment, which is something that I said on the other side of that door, and thank God for that soundproof door, because you can barely hear me yell. It's open, and I yelled through that door. That's how good that door is. And I don't know if you picked up on that on other video. Like it's in the video where I'm in the dark with the Hornets, where I have the door open. It's in that video also, briefly, where the door is open, where you can hear Stampy doing her thing. It's like, that's why I live just in this one room, is because I just can't tolerate that. Not with the way my life is and the edginess. I just can't tolerate that stamping. But you probably picked up on that and heard that. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe like Mason says, he watches these videos while he's doing other stuff and just listens to me talk. And I don't. I got no illusions about myself as being Captain Fascinating or anything like that. So, but I just wanted to point that out, that door is like this is almost like a sound recording room. That door is so solid and about keeping noise out. And thank God for that, because, or maybe not thank God for that, because maybe that would have got me out of here quicker. Though I was pretty beat down at the time Stampy moved in, because I had already gone through the meth crisis and the squatter crisis. So I was in no position to hear all that, because the bathroom is like up over top of me, obviously. So she's doing all her walking in this other part of this area here, and you can hear it in here sometimes, but not all that often, because most of this is the bathroom, and part of the bedroom. Her living room is more or less over top of my living room, where all the walking gets done. Now we'll test to see exactly how old I am, or how frail I am. It's like Let's see if I put bruises on myself doing that. That's one thing is I have pretty strong hands. When I was talking that evil shit about, various pressure points, which, I mean, another one that I've learned from watching Cops is you don't ever want to get hit in the armpit. I think I might have actually done that to myself before, but you don't ever want to get hit in the armpit. And you don't want to get hit right here with something pointy, like a finger or thumb. It's just various things that I picked up. And, yeah, my nerves are pretty cooked. I mean, I watched the Browns win, but, they did the equivalent of, they did the equivalent of an outfielder who misjudges a ball and makes a spectacular diving catch out of a routine fly ball. The game never should have been that close. It was the coaching was so horrible. The coach wasted one of his timeouts 2 seconds before the end of the third quarter, and because they couldn't get their shit together and they were going to get a delay of game penalty. The Browns are so poorly coached. But if they get some decent coaching in here, and believe me, they're going to clean house on this coaching staff. Next year, those cards that I spent all that money on, except for the Perryman cards, they're going to be worth a lot of money. Especially Mr. Chubb's cards are going to be worth a lot of money. Because the man's a flat beast, depending upon his durability and health. But I just need them. They just need decent coaching. They should have won against the Rams if they had decent coaching. They should have won against the Broncos if they had decent coaching. And they should have won against the Seahawks if they had decent coaching. So that's 3 wins right there. So right now they're 3-6. They'd be they would be a 500 team. That's right, isn't it? My math is the worst thing ever. Sounds right. So what the hell? I mean, they're below three games below 300, so they should be a 500 team right now. They should be in second place in their division, and they should be positioned to still have a shot at the North title. They still have a wild card shot because they didn't blow it today, and the Steelers are pretty good, but they got 2 games against the Steelers. The Bengals are getting better, but they're cupcakes, and they got a cupcake schedule the rest of the way through, except for the Steelers. The Steelers ain't no joke. They're pretty good, and their backup quarterback's name Mason Randolph. That guy's pretty good. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and their defense and their running game is pretty good. So, that's why they're second in the division and not the Browns. Well, the coaching is why, but I mean, they have, they're a pretty good team. Anyways, I have to be careful because I know that a lot of people that watch, there's not that there aren't women football fans, but I like to talk about stuff that interests people commonly, but at least that win that I watched today, that spectacular catch they made out of a routine fly ball, it keeps the hopes for the season alive. And they got Kareem Hunt back, who made a couple of nice plays. They made a couple of stupid plays where they did a timing play with the guy on his first play back in the NFL after missing I think a full season. I don't know. Anyway, it's his first game this year, and they did a timing play where I don't know what they call it, a jet play or something like that, but he's running across in front of the quarterback, and the quarterback has to time it and throw it to him. And it all it was just an incomplete pass, but it could have been a lot worse. Um, but yeah, that's more football talk. I just got done saying I don't, people who aren't interested in football, that are uh, interested in others. I try to keep the common themes of the human experience, I guess, or what my videos are about. Um, and I think really what they're about is watching somebody struggle through difficult circumstances and go through the emotional ups and downs of them, and still try and still find humor, you know, even with a broken toe. I don't really find humor in the fact that I broke my toe and that it hurts like a motherfucker right now. I don't find that humorous, that all was preventable, that all was stupid. I don't find it humorous that, I found it humorous that Roy actually took her words on face value about the tub coming to the ceiling. I found that humorous at the time, but I don't find it humorous that I have to treat somebody that's had a miserable life, even though they're a miserable and mean person, that I have to be like, we're done. We're just done, you know. And that's like one of the things where you have to look out for number one, because, and I don't want to go there as far as like explaining things like, if you don't know that that's about you going behind my back, minding my business about stuff that's going on in my apartment that has nothing to do with you, when you know that I have beef with the landlord, and texting the landlord behind my back about stuff that's going on in my apartment and getting in my business, if you don't know it, I ain't going to sit there and explain to you that that's why I'm upset. Okay? It's just the same way when I said drugs are bad, okay? And the landlord said, oh, yeah, I know they are. And I was, like I said, I could have said, yeah, you know that, huh? And then just went into his history of the building. There's no point in having any kind of discussion with him like that, because he's a sociopathic reptile. And, there's no point in going there. It's just going to aggravate me. It's going to incite my temper, which I don't need to do. So I hope, I'm like everybody else, okay? I want to believe that the universe cares about me, and that, like, the universe is looking out for me, and that it has a personal interest in me. I want to believe in that personal God type of thing. I want to believe that, like, I can lose my temper and I wouldn't lay hands on nobody. That universal entity, we'll call it, that I believe in, will be like, whoa, Steve, and put up an invisible hand to keep me from using a lot of the knowledge I have. And, and I was thinking about it, and this stuff comes to me like very quickly, of how a fight between me and Gerald would actually go down. What would go down is it would get heated. There would be some words. He would say some stupid shit. I would hit him with a right hand, and it would not be like a leveraged right hand where I'm trying to knock him out, but it would be a strong enough punch to make him dizzy. I'd put my leg forward and put it behind his legs, and then hit him with my weight. Or I would just, trust my luck and hit him high and hit him with my weight and take him down to the ground. And then immediately go for the throat or the eyes. And I'm not talking about going for the eyes like this, because of excuse me, because of my crippled up condition, I can't afford to play no games when it comes to a fight. It's got to be evil, low down, nasty. You know, I was thinking about what I said about trying to pin down his dominant hand, and I'm like, if I did, that would be the strategy that I would have in days gone by. Um, but I don't think I can do that because I can't trust my legs. So I would just immediately get him on the ground and go for his face and try to do as much damage to his eyes as I could. I don't want to get graphic and violent, you know. I mean, imagine that what was off-putting to people maybe about the last video. But I mean, um, you know, I want to believe that there's like a something that I could call him out on what he is and go there with him, you know, and that there'd be a hand that would be, no, Steve, don't touch him. You know, I want to believe that. I want to trust in that. That then I could be like just, you know, he wouldn't hit me first. He never hit me first because, you know, I'm all crippled up, and yeah, he would. He never lay hands on me first ever, and that's not the way that the fight would start anyway. The fight would start with me losing it if it came down to a physical thing. So I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, so that's why, like, when I said, like, I got one thing to say, and that's like, drugs are bad, okay? You know, I didn't say, like, I just told you that those people upstairs are using crack. I didn't say, you know, then how, if you think they're bad too, then how come you allow people to sell them out of your building and you don't care? You know, I didn't go there because he's going to come back with some stupid answer that's going to piss me off, and then I'm going to get angry, and then all the repressed rage and all the frankly all the trouble that and physical turmoil and the benzo edginess will kick in, and my history will kick in, and it won't just be about that guy and that guy's behavior. It will just all get, that's not how emotions work. It will just all get piled into one pile, and he would just be an outlet for that, you know. So, not my intention to make this long of a video. I just had those observations I wanted to lay on you, and I wanted to give you some good news about maybe getting out of here. And of course I got the toe to make another video. Of course I got the heart to make another video. What else do I got to do? Just trapped in this room. What else do I got to do? You know? I mean, I just watched the whole football game. I started to watch a piece of another football game, but, you know, after investing full complete attention in one football game, it's like I'm not ready to watch video of another football game. I might be now though. But yeah, I do think that's what my videos are really about, and I do think that's why people watch them. Is they're like, you know, this guy is honestly fucked up, and he's still trying, and you know, he also seems to be pretty honest about his emotions, about his feelings, and so you can go along there. You can go along for the ride with me if you want, and or you could be like, this guy, circumstances are worse than mine, but he's still trying. Maybe I can still try. You know, this guy's life is so bad that he can't even talk about it, and yet the part that he can talk about is a fucking nightmare. And he can't even talk about his whole life. He's leaving stuff out, and I don't even want to hear the stuff that he's leaving in. You know, so I think maybe that's why some people have been hanging in with me for, even though, I gave up trying to quit the benzos, and I took some flack from that from people. You know, that I was like it's not gonna happen here. It's just not gonna happen here. It's like I'm just torturing myself here. I'm done torturing myself. And but it's also maybe like, I'm 51 years old. I got an incurable disease, and but I still hold on to some hope for some sort of life that makes sense, or like that guy said that I read the paper of, a future that makes some sort of sense. Where I can wake up in the morning and I can be instead of waking up in the morning. I texted my niece the other day. I said, "Do you ever wake up in the morning and you know how you got to reacquaint yourself with who you are and your situation? Do you ever wake up in the morning and just want to scream, 'No!' in capital letters?" And she laughed and said, "Yeah, but not for a while now." She knew what I was talking about. And so, so I'm thankful I am thankful I do wonder what possible appeal these things could have to people. I do think about that because, I don't even break, I, I don't even like break 50 views anymore, you know, but, that's okay. It's okay. If I have like one viewer that's getting something out of this, or that's like it's helping them cope in some way. It's cliche as can be. And I wanted to say dirty words there because I like to say dirty words. But it's as cliche as could be. But if I could just help one person, that if I could just save one life, you can't save nobody's life, man. You gotta save your own life. But if I can help one person save their own life, and if I can help one person, like, um, get through this just by suffering publicly, um, even just get through this, Stephen King says never trust the pronoun. By this, I mean get through this thing we call life. That's what Kurt Vonnegut Jr. It'd be nice to like pretend like I was well read and quote other authors from time to time. But he said that's what we're here for, is to help one another get through this mess. Um, if I can serve that function, man, and still have the joy that I get from self-expression, and frankly, um, be able to kill the time. That's why I've been talking for however long I've been talking. I guess I don't have to have my score blocker in the way anymore here. Oh my gosh. Another super long video. Talking an hour. Just, so I can kill that time so I get something out of it, and if somebody else gets something out of it, man, that's cool. That's what it's about for me. And sometimes, like, I do wonder, like, um, yeah, I do wonder why I have a loyal, like, maybe 10 people. I don't know how many people that watch these things. And I have 124 subscribers, you know, but I never have 124 views. But I make a lot of videos, so, you know, maybe they just check in from time to time. And I was thinking, I wonder how that one bald, toothless bastard's been doing these days. Or like, I wonder if he's funny today, or he's morose, or, you know, or if he's finally just given up the ghost, or just given up entirely. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't like the fact that I'm self-conscious now about smiling, because it's a gruesome smile with, you know, all the teeth missing now. It's not pretty. But, you know, I know that I don't get those 10 loyal viewers from my beauty. I know that. So, that's an hour, and that's certainly enough, especially after making that very weird video. I mean, what other video could you have a box, what is it, Toccata del Fugue horror music played over a broken toe, a guy talking directly after he has a severely broken toe, a guy talking with insomnia the night before, basically just, you know, talking about how much he wants to kill somebody he has to interact the next day. Yet, where else would you get something like that? And then like have the plumber cam thing followed by like an explanation of it, and it's just like, yeah. I'm actually, even though I'm not proud of the editing work I did in it, I'm actually proud of that video uh, for some reason. Just because, I guess, of the uniqueness of it, and the fact that it actually worked. I mean, I thought about it later as I was like, maybe I'm being a dumbass. Maybe that light is just an indicator, and I can just take a little tiny piece of tape and cover up the light, and then I could have got like everybody's faces all the time in the shot. You know, you can barely see my even. You got a pretty good look at the landlord's face because he's shorter than me, but you can barely see my face even when I'm standing up against the far wall on it and stuff. But I'm doing that thing again where I'm just talking because talking serves another function for me, and that is it is a distraction from the pain. And thank you, Toe, for just, you know, mellowing out just a little bit. Just, yeah, just taking it easy. just for a little bit. So, you know, no ending, as always. Just a salute, and thank you for watching. And I hope that things go well, and I'm very thankful to the people that are interested enough to continue watching these videos and keeping my viewership at least in the double digits. I mean, once it gets to the single digits, you know, those could be people that are like not good with the mouse and clicking on. It's still a view. If they click in and I'm like, whoops, clicked on the wrong thing, you know. But anyways, we'll see you later.